Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining us from. I'm your commentator this evening, Wilton Wild, for round 5 of Season 9 for DRC Tier 1 F1 stream powered by Milestone. And we have a new sponsor as well joining us, and we're happy to announce the Digital Racing Championship. We're proudly adding as Ace Tech, which is a company growing recently. They've entered the racing sim industry. They bring us high-end direct drive steering wheels, hydraulic pedals. If you're looking to upgrade your gear, buying anything new gear, of course, you can make sure you can click any of the links listed below or on our channel, which would help us out, and you can get yourself some nice gear from Ace Tech as well. We're here at Silverstone, the home of racing for the British Grand Prix. 5.8 kilometers or 3.8 miles around this historic circuit. And I'm going to, before I do forget, or a ramble, let's get, as always, everything up. Everyone will be on the soft tires anyway, so we can get rid of that now. I believe we've got people actually leaving already, going on to the track. It looks like a Alpine of Ollie as well. Fudge will be the first one out on to track, so the French pair on track first, of course. I think the game audio might actually be turned down, which I'll very quickly address. I have, of course, I race Tier 2 myself, and I have everything adjusted for when I'm driving, because the game can be loud and frustrating. If the audio levels are incorrect, please do let me know. I think there's an advert starting in a few seconds. I apologise, but we should have a good race on our hands. Stozan will be just tucking in behind Ollie. The drivers have switched place. Ollie taking an aggressive outlap here. But as I said, 3.8 miles around this circuit, 18 corners, 2 DRS zones. And for the race, we'll be doing 26 laps. The clouds nice and overcast. A very nice day for Silverstone, I'm sure. But we definitely should have a good race on our hands. Very fun circuit to drive Silverstone. A classic known, which many should know and love, as we're going to watch Ollie setting up now to start a lap in his Alpine as he navigates the corners here. So we'll see how he takes this aggressively going into the Hamilton straight now. So we'll see what he can do into Abbey. No lift expected here, especially for that car. The downforce should be equally balanced. You want an aggressive setup. You don't want anything too stable, but you can lose the rear, especially in some of these medium, long, swooping corners, which can catch out the best of drivers as the heat really starts to ramp up in the tyres and the tyre wear really kicks in. But down the Wellington straight now into Brooklands, nice and tight, cutting the distance down as best as he can through Luffield. This Alpine really attacking this circuit. It looks like a decent lap so far by Ollie, but we'll see what he can do. This comes down the old pit straight now, down into Copse, a critical corner, as we like to call it here. Wide and invalidating. Ollie will have to wind down and try and go again. That is unfortunate to see from him. There's a ride on board with Burge, who's on an outlap as well, who's ahead of Stozan. So I think Stozan might actually be getting a tow here from his teammate. Burge playing a fantastic team game into the hanger straight. DRS open at Ferrari, slipstreaming, playing the team game is Burge, giving his teammate a nice healthy tow down that straight into Stowe. What can this Ferrari do? It's looking very aggressive, like a great time for him as they're going to navigate the last few corners here. The Vale chicane down into the Hamilton straight keeps it all together, and we're going to have our first time on the board, a 25.5, a respectful time by Stozan from himself there. I think Fudge as well, following 25.6, an impressive time by him. The drivers had continued any laps, of course. I think Edgin coming around here. It wasn't Edgin, unfortunately, it was Castleman. Edgin did invalidate, but I think he was on an outlap anyway, so he will be starting. Ollie is going again, tucking behind a Red Bull on track. We'll see, is that Sevener? Sevener is going to be, I think, one of the first people to be on a lap here. Or is RD Gamer coming through? I think is on a lap. We'll see what RD Gamer can do. We do see Jagu set at 25.6 and RD Gamer with 25.9 times are being quite healthy up the board so far. 7 are navigating Maggots and Beckett's. This Red Bull really aggressive down the hanger straight. DRS wide open on this car. What can he do? He does have a purple sector, but the timings might not always be consistent for this. Someone's sound was off. Well, if your sound's off, that's fine. Do let me know in the chat if the audio is messed up, of course, for my end. Sooner we fix that, the better. And Sevener sounds better. 25.4, a brilliant time from him. Burge, who was playing the team game, sets a 25.6 as well. Brilliant time from himself. AlphaTauri is coming around the track as well. I think in Edgin, who is on a flying lap, he'll be wanting to have an impressive performance today. Suffering a little bit with a jaw ache or injury, something he's got going on. But can he tough it out? And to the line, does find provisional pole. 25.2 from himself. A brilliant lap. Aim as well, sets at 1:30. I think that was his lap. He might be able to go again, but it does look like from that corner he is cooling down. So we'll have to see. MKL rejoining us. Kimarai is starting a lap. So right on board with Kimarai. Fudge has either retired or crashed out. So I appeared to have missed that. But Kimarai left it last minute to get pole in Spa. Had a decent performance in Canada. And we've seen some drivers as well perform fairly well throughout the season. Currently, MKL leads the championship with 60 points. Closest is Stur Sosan with 56. And Matthias keeping people honest. He is still on the grid. 12 returns to the table for 51. And Jaku at 43. But Red Bull leading impressively, 76 points. Haas currently on board with Haas and Kimarai in 68 points. It's all looking fairly close. Stozan, I believe, had a good race last time out, finishing... where did he finish? He finished P3 at Texas. So he'll be wanting to have a good result and get a very good finish again. As down the hanger straight we go on board with this after DRS. Wide open, trying to get the last of the slipstream that he can manage. So we'll see where he can come out. It's looking fairly impressive so far for Kimarai. Into the Vale chicane. Nice and aggressive. Looks like he's got a lot of traction through here. And he'll be coming to the line. And he sets a 25.6. A decent enough lap from himself. I believe AIM is going again as well. But we have other drivers on flying laps. Periland dotting, I think, due to invalidation. But someone who will want to climb up the order who's yet to set a lap. Igor currently looking fairly smart with that Alpha, with that Aston Martin. So we will see what time he can do. Of course, he has previously struggled with qualifying. Good on, please. So we'll see what he can do. Usually a very pacey driver, but he'll have to get himself high up on the board. Very wide through Beckett's, Maggots and Beckett's. That'll cost him a lot of time. He did keep his throttle down as much as he could, but that might not be good enough in terms of provisional timing. So we'll see where Igor does come out through Stowe, keeps it all together. Maybe it's not too bad. The track evolution will only benefit Laser, of course, so I don't think the damage was too bad. But we'll see what he can do as he comes to the line and does set P11. 25.9. Looks all fairly tight, all fairly close so far. AIM, who is going again out of Stowe into the Vale chicane. We'll see what he can do with this McLaren. Tight, holding it together. Gets out a little bit timid on the throttle, and he charges into the Hamilton straight, and it's only good enough for a 26 flat so far for P12. Castleman starting a lap. MK, I think, is actually on a lap. No, he's done a long out lap, so I think he'll be definitely going again. He will. That's a 27.2. So a quite aggressive out lap from himself. Matthias, I think, is he starting a lap? So Yeah, no improvement there. 42-second outlap. Drivers doing multiple runnings. As expected, to be fair, drivers will definitely want to, if they can do multiple laps, Igor definitely not doing a lap with that much corner cutting there. RD Gamer on an outlap, trying to make sure we can find the drivers who are on flying laps, of course. Matthias is on one. Igor coming in. Aim, you think, will be boxing as well. Doesn't have the ERS to definitely continue. Verge on outlap yellows, as we do see a Williams flying through. RD Gamer on an outlap. Jagu on an outlap as well. It's an Alpine, sorry, I think, coming to the line. Is it Ollie? Ollie will be starting a lap. So Kasserman, I think, will be one of the first to be crossing a line on a flying lap. So we'll see what he can do. Drivers getting out of the way as Kasserman flies round Stowe. Keeps it right on the limit in that Alpha Tauri. Braking hard into the chicane, and we'll see what he can do if he can get a good enough exit out of Vale. Long sweeping right-hander, easy to lose the traction. It's a fantastic lap, a 25.4 from himself. Brilliant by him. Burge gets a 25.6. And we have a Red Bull coming to the line. It's not going to be Sevener, it's Matthias, I think, as well, who's now just navigating the Vale chicane. You can see the cars pushing themselves through, and it's P7 currently for himself. Igor boxing, Perryland starting a lap, of course, who will ride on board with for this Aston Martin. Perryland will definitely want to be climbing up the order. Does have a lot of pace in himself for Tier 1, so we'll see. He will definitely want to climb up the order. The British racing green of the Aston Martin looking very nice around this circuit. And I think the sun might be slowly coming out. I don't think any of the drivers will want any rain at all. Silverstone's not a nice one to be driving around when it's all wet. Can turn into a struggle. DRS wide open on Perryland's Aston Martin as he attacks in now to Luffield. Bit of dirt on the car, probably from either going off track to take evasive action for people, but I don't think that's impacting him too much, so we'll see. Jagu with a fantastic P4, sets a 25.5, so that's a brilliant lap from himself. RD Gamer jumps up to a 25.8 as well. He'll be cooling down, but that's a brilliant lap from that Williams, another British team as well here. But we'll see what Perryland can do. Coming out of Maggots and Beckett's now, down into the hanging straight. DRS wide open. All that dirt will definitely be cleaning off the rear wing. That is unfortunate to see. No slipstream available for Perryland down the straight, but he's keeping it nice, tidy enough, pushing that rear end, and he's decided to abandon his lap, unfortunately. So that will be the end for him. But Deflink setting a time on the board of 20.57, of course, from himself. That's a nice and respectable time there. I think the Alpines, Fudge is out, so Ollie will be one of the first coming to the line for this next set. 4 minutes left in the session, so drivers currently on laps will be able to get a third one in. Ollie's light is blinking, so he's either doing a fast out lap. It means his ERS is turned off, but he's flying through. He is boxing, so he's doing an aggressive in lap as predicted, of course. Like I said, drivers will have time to go again. As RD Gamer is flying through on an in lap. He will be boxing, so he will not be going again. He can't go again, of course. Drivers will be wanting to pick up fresh rubber in lap, I believe, from Burge as well. These drivers have just finished laps, so they'll be seeing what they can do. Stozan is prepping for a lap, getting out of the way for traffic, but Seven drivers now just forming up, trying to see if they're going to take slipstream or not. Don't believe Deflink is going again. Deflink validated, and he just tries to get into the pit lane. Bit of evasive action needed there. Not exactly what you want for qualifying. That's a bit more stressful than you would think you want to see. Drivers trying to sort themselves out just to start laps. We've only got a few minutes left in the session. This might be the last run, and if they mess up, maybe they can box again, refuel, but drivers definitely need to sort themselves out. If you're not boxing, stay out the right. If you're not prepping for a lap, get out the way fully, and if you are going for a lap, don't dawdle, don't hold people up. But we'll see now what Sevener can do. I think a Haas is flying round through of MKL, who will want to do a better time. He is doing fairly well. It's 1/10 up on his previous lap, but that won't be enough to actually gain himself, well, gain himself any positions at all currently. He's nearly a second off the pace behind Ollie, where he sat in P16 in this Haas. Oh, now a second, sorry, 1.2 seconds improved now from that Haas. Telemetry must be done by, oh, no invalidation. He just must have kept it in stow. But this is going to cost him. We'll see what MKL can do to the line. Can he take any provisional pole position? He can't at 13th. That cost him way too much time. That was unfortunate, but 7 is flying through in that Red Bull. 2 minutes left in the session. You might get the feeling that this is it for these drivers, so they need to nail their laps. They won't have enough time to do an in-lap and get back out. What can 7 do to the line? He gets provisional pole, a 25 flat from himself. Brilliant time. Igor finds himself with a 25-2. McLaren of AIM, I think, was starting a lap. That was his lap. It's only not good enough for P10. Is unfortunate for himself as well. Kimi Rai is on an outlap. MKL won't be going again, so drivers will be forming up now. This will be their attempt for every run. Kimi Rai will be the first one to be going, I think. Igor might be cooling down. What, 5 tenths off the pace. MKL's flying through. Won't be able to go again. He can't box and go. So I believe Kimi Rai will be the first one to be breaking the beam. There's only probably about a minute left. Yeah, exactly. 1:09 seconds left in this session. Drivers now forming up, getting ready. Is AIM going again? AIM's just trying to get round. He is cooling down, so we will be riding aboard Kimi Rai as he's getting as much heat in as he can. You can see the brakes flaring up, getting all nice and hot, getting that Haas qualifying prep ready, and he will be starting his lap. A lot of time to gain, of course, but it's only 6 tenths. You can gain that through every single corner, so we're going to see what Kimi Rai has, what his Haas can do, of course. And we've got a grid place penalty for Stozan, who was blocking. Sorry, collision with RD Gamer. Drivers definitely need to be sorting themselves out. There's a massive mess back here by drivers. They need to be sorting themselves out so they can get their laps underway. This is not good at all for any of them. They've left it way too late. Kimi Rai is not improving by much. So we'll see what he can do as he goes into cops. He's got a lot of time to gain. Into Maggots and Beckett's now. The American car, what can it do? Can it hold itself together through here? More cautions, but that is ouchie out of the way. That was late news from the stewards there. He is finding a 10th. So if he can send it in sector 3, there might be rewards for Kimi Rai. He'll want to start higher up. He normally does fairly well with qualifying. Does keep it together through Stowe. Into the Bell chicane. How late on the brakes can he be? Nice and aggressive. Kissing the curb. That'll cost him some time. It does unsettle the car. Into the final corner here. Nice and powerful on the throttle. And it has cost him. He won't improve at all here. Edgin is not the next driver to be crossing the line. It's Castleman who's finished now his lap. MKL will be having another go. Is he improving? He isn't improving at all there. Matthews will be coming to the line. What can he do in that Red Bull? He does improve. He takes second place for himself. Ollie finishing as well, unable to improve. McLaren of AIM, he can't improve. What can RD Gamer do? Can he challenge further up the grid at all? He can't improve. Deathlink does improve, but it's not enough. He's in P12. And I believe that might be our order. 7 are cooling down with a fantastic 25 flat. Burge, yeah, he's on a cooldown as well. Decided to take the scenic route in that Ferrari. I didn't know Ferrari make tractors or lawnmowers, but here we are, the world's most expensive. Look, this Burge, this is painful to watch. Burge, please just go onto the track. Oh my lord. I mean, fair enough for staying out the way, but no one is on any more flying laps. 7er is, you imagine he will take the chicken flag, he won't. world's longest in laps from everyone. The Sevener does find himself as our pole sitter for today in that Red Bull. A fantastic lap from himself. Edging nearly there, 1/10 off. Sevener just managed to eke out that time. Matthias, the other Red Bull, sandwiching between Edging. It's a fantastic qualifying from them. A great Grand Prix for them as the clouds are clearing. Drivers are designed to pit rather than take the checkered flag. You breathe. Mess, absolute mess. Starting their final laps. Let's try to see who's responsible. Deathlink seemed to be involved there, but there were collisions. And drivers having 5-place grid penalties, of course. You don't like to see it, but that's what happens. If everyone wants to leave at last minute, you know exactly what risk you are running. You need to give yourself and other drivers enough space and enough time to get round and actually be able to start a qualifying lap. Burgess car looking... that Ferrari's had better days. The engineers probably won't be happy that they've got to spend the next time cleaning it. But here is your qualifying Sevener. I know it's like server, but I will... I apologise. I just can't not say Sevener. just the 7 at the start. And the 7 looking like a V. Does take pole position, a 25 flat from himself. Edging in P2, Matthias P3. The Red Bulls doing very well to qualify 1 and 3. You can expect a strong race from themselves. Jaigu P4, Igor P5, Burge with a 6th place finish. Castleman 7th, Stozan, Fudge, and Aim wrap up your top 10 with Kimurai, Deathlink, Ardy Gamer, Perryland, MKL, and Ollie, unfortunate to not be able to set a strong enough time, finds himself at the back of the grid. Can imagine with 2 DRS zones as well, we might see a fair bit of overtaking, but dirty air around this track, especially with the new setups that the cars have. Usually find with the way they've done handling, it's very difficult to follow within a second. Once you get right up behind someone, it's brilliant. You can get the slipstream and get the overtake. But it's not nice to be stuck behind someone. Even with the DRS, it can be a struggle. You can burn a bit of ERS, but still aggressive, long straights. We should see some overtakes. Stozan leaving the session. There is something in the chat. We are just waiting for the players, of course. Drivers just making sure their setups are perfect. You can imagine no one wants to make sure they're going into the race. Either they have the front wing angle wrong or the tyres are messed up. Can't remember if Parc Ferme is a thing currently, so we'll have to see. Sometimes that is disabled. Game can mess people's setups up, so it's not nice. Especially if you end up going into the race without a setup, it can just ruin your day. As we get ready, you can see some clouds overhead, but nothing too dark, nothing too grey. Sunny day at Silverstone to go racing here at DRC Tier 1. Of course, powered by Milestone and our new sponsors as well, Ace Tech. So you can check those details out into the description. We're at round 5 for Season 9. We're halfway through the season. Things are hopefully going to spice up more, but we will see, of course, what today will bring for the race. 26 laps of racing. We're still waiting for drivers. This is a long time waiting for everyone. Last time out, I can't fully remember what happened in Tier 1 for Silverstone last season. So we'll just have to see. But the results last time out in Austin, Texas, the last race last week was Jacob in P1. So not bad result from himself. Sevener, who is currently, did have a fantastic lap, is currently P2. And Stozan, he did get P3. Kimurai, P4, or of course Edgin, P5, who is in second place. So he can perform fairly well. Had to do a recovery drive in Kota. But we are underway for our formation lap. Drivers did finally get everything all prepped exactly how they want it. So we'll just get details up now, just to have a look at everything, of course. Mixture of tyres is always nice to see, always fantastic to see a differing of strategies. Safety cars can throw that out of the window. People starting on the hards will have to commit to the hards if there's an early safety car. Sevener on mediums on Matthias, so the Red Bull pair will decide to go with the same strategy. Imagine whoever leading will get pit priority. Edgin as well, differing from his teammate, he's on the soft, so Igor, Edgin and Periland choosing the soft tyre. And AIM will be the highest up the order with the hards. Deathlink, Stozan and MKL following. These drivers do have actually a bit of pace under themselves. AIM's done fairly well to get that McLaren into the top 10. One McLaren, of course, on the grid, so he will have to fend off by himself. But he'll see what he can do. Definitely, if he can get a good time safety car, especially into the race, might be able to do well. But the same be said, of course, for the Mercedes, the Ferrari of Stozan, who's quite far back from his teammate, as well as MKL Kimarai. The Haas pairing, of course, usually further up the order. They are second in the championship, not too far off Red Bull, but Red Bull, a fantastic qualifying result, has put them right in the driving seat to be securing a double podium here, you would feel. Especially both choosing the preferred strategy, mediums, so that gives them a bit of flexibility as well. And you can see strategies as well. Apparently two-stopper is viable, but I doubt we'll see that unless there's a safety car. But you can expect soft to go onto hard tyres, and the mediums onto hards as well. Some drivers, if they can talk to their tyres, if they drive like they bought them, then maybe they can take the mediums along to a safety car, or maybe they can take them onto the softs. But we will see drivers now forming up onto the Hamilton straight, eyeing up their pit box. We expect burnouts, of course, just to try and get some heat into the tyres. And you can see drivers just finding their way round. Everyone just slowly sorting themselves out and finding their grid box. Nice and careful at the back here from Ollie. Very gently in. Take your time. You don't want to overshoot it. He does find his way there, so we will see now to go on board, getting ready with 5 red lights at the Silverstone Grand Prix for Tier 1 DRC, and we are underway. A fantastic getaway by Edgin on those softs, sends it right off the inside. Sevener losing out quite heavily there. Brilliant start by Edgin, who is through straight away. He's trying to seize the orders of battling straight away, side by side. The Aston Martin of Igor going round the inside now. Side by side here. Can he hold on to it? Little bit of traction lost by Jagu, but he gets that Aston Martin up and through. As you're going to see quickly, just the position changes. There is jostling further back as well. AIM losing out. And I think Castleman going side by side. He does get a move done there as well. We've got someone going wild. Miles off there. Don't think any collision happened, but someone definitely losing out on the car. Not sure if it was MKL, but Edgin with a brilliant start there. We're going to see side by side into that chicane. MKL forcing the Ferrari out wide. But Edgin, fantastic start on those softs, navigating Maggots and Beckett's now. His AlphaTauri flying through into turn 1. Sevener having no answer, but the medium pairs of the drivers on both those Red Bulls now have to drive in formation to see what they can do. And Burge is going to lose out the Castleman, who sends it down the inside of Stowe. He is holding on to the position. They're going to go side by side into the Vales chicane. Ferrari's trying to squeeze out Castleman as much as he can, and well defended by Burge in that Ferrari, and he will hold on to that position. A great bit of defensive driving by that Ferrari. And the Red Bulls are now separating a little bit. Sevener's falling back, but you'd expect that from the softs on Edge, and he will just drive away a little bit. And that's a mistake by Sevener. It's going to cost him. He's gone well off track, nearly clipping with his teammate. He has to let him through, and he's trying to just hold on enough from Igor to not lose more than one position. And that is painful from the Red Bull of Sevener. He had to let Matthias go. He couldn't hold up his teammate. And he has completely... He is struggling for grip right now. The mediums should be one of the best tyres. Definitely struggling with track limits already further back. That's unfortunate. But we are going to see Sevener fighting for dear life. Either the setup or the tyres just weren't warmed up enough, or he's struggling, but he has to give up that position. qualifying P1. He's dropped all the way back to 4th position. Not the start the Red Bull would have wanted. His teammate Matthias doing what he had to do for following through and getting into 2nd place. But Igor gaining a couple of places as well. Brilliant bit of driving by himself, and we do see positions back here as Stozan looking for the move on AIM. AIM who's lost out his 4th position. Stozan losing out the rear a little bit, which does allow AIM to hold on to that position for now, as he's going to try it. No, he's not going to dare go down the inside just yet into that chicane, but there is a train beginning to form now, and they'll want to get the move done. Especially they feel AIM's holding them up. They don't want to be a sitting duck to any attacks from behind. But we do have DRS now, so Edgin does have this buffer leading out of the straight down to the Hanger Straight. Sorry, Wellington Straight out of Aintree, so he won't have to worry too much from Matthias, who does have Igor for company, of course. And DRS is next lap, my apologies. Bit too keen on the commentary. I thought I'd missed it, but obviously I had just missed it entirely in terms of myself. Stozan, apparently, you saw you were just taking time to get back in, which is completely understandable. But drivers now forming up, of course, as we're probably going to see this now settling into a formation as Igor not actually settling. He's deciding that he needs to go on the attack right on the gearbox of that Red Bull and Matthias. Losing a bit of time. The dirty air will suffer for drivers, but he's got a fantastic exit. DRS is open. It's just a graphical glitch, I think, but Aston Martin flies through down the inside, and there's nothing Matthias could do. But the Red Bull pair, Matthias did start P3. He might feel a bit hard done by that he doesn't get to dictate the pace anymore, as Igor does struggle with that rear, which allows that Red Bull to come right back at him. Out of the Vales chicane, he just lost traction. Any advantage, any overspeed he carried from the DRS straight, completely lost, and that's just allowed that Red Bull Matthias to ride right behind him. Sevener probably wants, if he does have more pace now, his car's now sorted out, he probably wants Matthias to get the move done so he can go on the attack himself. But we will see DRS wide open. Which way is he close enough? He isn't, so that Red Bull will just have to settle behind. But he's looking ever closer to that Aston Martin, and these drivers have now closed up to Edgin as well. So the softs not actually holding on to as much pace as they could, as there's been a mistake at the back. And that's unfortunate to see. McLaren of AIM having to go off track either from contact or a spin. We're not sure, but someone who doesn't want any contact here will be Igor and his Aston Martin, navigating Maggots and Beckett's, wanting a fantastic exit. These softs, of course, while they've caught up to the back of Edgin, they seem to be tearing away a little bit, but Igor did get DRS off the back of Edgin, so he was able to defend this a little bit more. But Matthias just finds his way past Slipstream, being very powerful. But everyone's struggling a little bit there into Stowe, as they're going to go side by side. A bit of a lock-up here, so trying to get a better camera angle. They're side by side still, and the Red Bull Sevener now side by side as well with Igor. Nearly free wide, they're battling now. The two Red Bulls getting involved, the other Aston Martin. And are they going to go side by side? They are still. And he has to settle back down into fourth. Still a good start by Igor, but even Jagu's getting involved now, who does run a little deep. The Williams trying to get involved, trying to find his way through, allows Burge to come back at him. But Sevener recovers a little bit up into third, but Edgin, with 2 seconds, is now driving away as more drivers squabble for these positions. You get the feeling, however, the Red Bull drivers might either drive formation, swapping positions and trying to work together now, especially being on the same tyre. Sevener does drop back a little bit, probably to prep himself for Maggots and Beckett's. Don't want to be too far behind and allow anyone to get a run on you. Jagu finding a fantastic bit of pace in that Williams. Mistake by Igor as well, clipping that curb, runs a little wide, is still holding on to position, but that's just backing the drivers up. That Williams sweeping back, unable to get the traction, but he does fly through down the outside. And that's a brilliant move by Jagu. Igor just holding out as well, as Burge is looking as well, and slots back in behind. But Igor falling back a little bit back into the same order. The softs not doing exactly what they needed to for him. He gained the positions but wasn't able to hold on, and now has dropped further and further back. So the advantage has been lost, unfortunately. And he sends it down the inside, and that's a... Oh my god, Igor, no! Late on the brakes, overcooking it, and Igor has just found himself facing backwards, colliding with the Williams and the Red Bulls. I stopped for 1 second. 1 second just to think, oh, okay. Take a quick drink. And Igor has just completely... He is still further back there with aim, but he's racing someone who also is quite far back now. And that is unfortunate to see. A rocket into... a rocket into Village. He'll have to keep his head down. Just hope for a safety car. But this does allow Sevener some time to breathe, of course. But Burge is now on the back of him. Is still going to have DRS, but the slipstream from that Ferrari might have enough. Doesn't gain and doesn't get close enough to actually look for a move into Stowe. Not sure. I don't think anyone did pick up too much damage from that move. We are looking to add a replay function as well to the streams. So once that is up and running, we'll be able to see things like that again. But that'll definitely be clipped, I'm sure, either by us or by someone else who will, well, at Igor's expense, maybe have a laugh at it, of course. Brilliant traction by Sevener, who just gets away from Burge enough. Who is going to have that Williams to contend with. The Jagu doesn't dare try to attack either that. The Ferrari is burning ERS, so no move can be done there. Lap 7 of the British Grand Prix here in DRC Tier 1 Round 5. And so far, drivers have definitely kept this exciting. Edgen, of course, has a 5-second lead. He is driving away a brilliant race so far. Everyone caught up to the back of him, but they were too aggressive fighting each other, and this has just allowed Edgen just to look after his tyres. He'll definitely be managing those softs now. Not too far off the pace, only 0.8 behind his personal best so far. So we'll see what pace he can do. As we can see everyone in the background forming up. DRS on Jagu round the outside of Stowe. Later on the brakes, and Deathlink is out further back down the order, and that brings out a safety car. And you can see the Mercedes crashed over to the side there. Maybe there was contact. The two Red Bulls have missed out on pitting. Burge dives in, Jagu dives in, everyone pulling in, you'd expect, for their pit stops. No overtakes can be done. This pit lane is way too narrow. This brings AIM and Igor back into it. Igor might be looking at a penalty for his mistake into Village, but we will see. Edgen, Matthias and Sevener will be catching the safety car, so they will lose out. Of course, Edgen especially, that's terrible timing for him. He needs to get off those softs. I doubt he will want to continue any longer, and we can hope, he'll definitely want to hope that he can peel in under the safety car and box. The drivers will be stopping, of course, to what tyres they have available. Hards for Burge, who's peeling out. Jagu gone for the hards as well. Stozan onto the mediums. It's possible to go those 18 laps on those, but it's a long stint. Other drivers opting for the mediums, AIM and MKL. That's just down to what they had available. You can't take the softs to the end. I don't even think a double stop on the softs and softs again after you burn them up through quali is viable. But it's unfortunate as we lose Deathlink in this race, the only Mercedes that was running. Down the Hanger Straight, I'm sure there might have been a collision or some reason for him to have suffered that damage. So given Edgen has caught the safety car, drivers I don't think have too much delta to be respecting. But Edgen, I think, as unfortunate as it is, he may need to pit. The time you save boxing under the safety car, even if you go back into racing conditions, as soon as DRS is enabled, you are just going to lose out. So we'll see what he does do, and he is deciding to box. Matthew is pulling it as well, and it's a double stop from the Red Bulls. Sevener is going to lose out. Edgin speeding in the pit lane. 5-second time penalty for Edgin, our race leader. And that is unfortunate to see. Red Bulls double stacking. Edgin serving a time penalty. Sevener will lose out. Burge is coming round the corner now into the Hamilton straight. He will be our race leader as he comes through now. And you can see this double stack didn't hold him up too much, but this is so unfortunate from the Red Bulls. Being held here, that is painful to see. Sevener really losing out right down the order. Right down the order. Matthias and Sevener right out of the points in those Red Bulls. And that is so painful to see. Edgin, I think, actually got to serve. No, he didn't. He still has that 5-second time penalty. He just, either through frustration, just wasn't really racing out of the pit straight. The Red Bull managed to catch up to him. So our top three completely losing out. Edgin falling right down the order into 11th. Matthias himself in that Red Bull down to 12th. Sevener, who qualified in pole position, is now sat in last place. You might have felt that they had to box, but it may have been worth it just to accept the safety car is going to allow you to extend. You were behind your teammate, but everyone else is going to be on similar tyres. Granted, they're on the hards, but those hards are going to go to the end. Your mediums, if you've got a battle, they won't. And that is unfortunate to see by Red Bull, who are leading the championship, finding themselves miles out of the points. Edgin as well. Very unfortunate. A race leader on the softs. 5-second time penalty, which you will need to serve. Speeding into the pit lane, of course. Very hard to get removed unless it's a blatant glitch. Which is weird, because he didn't seem too fast. But if he does pit stop again, of course, the game will force him to serve it regardless. So we'll just see if he can go to the stewards at all. But Bird's getting ready to go racing again. We'll ride on board with Jagu in this Williams. He'll definitely be wanting to get a good result himself. And we're going to wait to see when that Ferrari of Burge does go out the Vale chicane, taking his time. Can't slow down too much in the pace you already had, but he's leaving it way too late. The line is there, and we are underway again. We are going racing. No yellows so far further back, so it seems everyone got through there nice and safe. Jagu stays right with Burge. A terrible restart from Burge, which is unfortunate as we see positions changing further back. Kimirai fighting to defend or attack his position from RD Gamer. I'm not entirely sure, but Periland down the inside on Kimirai. The Aston Martin, can he hold in that position? He can, as he has struggles for grip. So he is through. Jagu right on the back of that Ferrari, but he's got Castleman there as well. So these drivers really benefiting from this safety car, who were racing hard against each other earlier, further back down the order. And there's a bit of a mistake from Matthias as he cuts, and he is further back, which is painful to see as he's gone off track. Williams trying to stay with Burge, of course, in that Ferrari, going through cops now. These drivers were racing aggressively further back down the order, but now that we've had the Red Bull pair out the way, now the Edgin is further down the order, their battle becomes the main for P1, and there's been a mistake, and Edgin is out! Edgin is out! Finding the barrier into Maggots and Beckett's, he must have lost traction or caught the curb, and that is painful to see. Either it's painful for him, I'm not sure, with his jaw ache or infection, we'll have to see. 2 safety cars in Tier 1. Not even 1 lap of racing after the restart. Matthias deciding to go on probably to a new set of mediums. He is in last place, so that's completely understandable. Completely don't blame him for that. He's got nothing to lose, so mediums will be the better tyre to take for the next 16 laps. Sevener had to stay out, of course. He is on the mediums. He could have gone to the hards again, but they'd already done quite a lot of racing, and I still don't think the double stop on the softs or even taking the soft to the end is viable at the moment. 15 laps, you could sort of do it, but you're going to burn up and just be a mess by the end. But Burge, terrible getaway, leaving it right to the last minute. Jagu could have gone. If Jagu was feeling any braver, he could have jumped the throttle early. You're not allowed to overtake till the timing line, but you can get side by side if you're going racing. Once the safety car is in, if you're coming to the line, you can go. If Burge tries this again, I would definitely like to see Jagu give that a go. Just get on the throttle. If he's leaving it out the exit of Vale Chicane, the timing line's so close, you can be side by side and take the lead. But Jagu probably deciding to just keep it safe, keep it smart, but everyone managing to survive the safety car restart until, unfortunately, Edgin, Castleman's teammate, just losing out, and either through frustration or just pushing the tyres that weren't warmed up, finding the barrier in the Maggots and Beckett's. That high race curve might have been the reason, but it did look like a big crash. Very rare to see a mistake from that AlphaTauri driver. Seen some drivers swapping positions. Hopefully it's just everyone sorting themselves out. Might have been people warming up and losing concentration. But we might see one more lap of safety car. I believe Matthews won't catch this queue this lap. Crazy restart from Burge. Yes, Dor, I know. Edgin crashing out. He's got the pull factor. He's our celebrity. Edgin is our Lewis Hamilton. He's hashtag blessed. So when people come to the stream, people tune into the chat, and we see Edgin crash out, it's not what we want to see, especially for the title fight that he has got on his hands. He's still, of course, in with a chance of that. But I do quote Edgin earlier today. He did have some fine choice of words where he's so used to winning, it just became habit for him. He just races. Lackadaisical might be the word for him though today, unfortunately, finding the barriers. But we should see the safety car coming in. Sevener not exactly pushing, but I can't blame him. He doesn't want to burn up his tyres. He's back onto the hards. I thought he would have taken a new set of mediums. He would have been able to. Deciding, however, the hards will be the tyre to go to the end. But that's the same as his... Matthews is on the mediums. Sorry. I think he was able to stop again. Either that or another Red Bull. Oh no, sorry. Matthews did stop and Sevener has stopped again to go onto the hards. So that Red Bull will probably catch the back of the safety car queue, and we should see racing again as soon as we get through Maggots and Beckett's. I will take a very quick drink. So last time this happened, someone crashed out, but hopefully that doesn't happen again. That was very jarring. Safety car in this lap as Sevener does catch the back of the queue. So two drivers lost, unfortunately. Edgin in the AlphaTauri and Deflink in the Mercedes. Deja vu, a feeling here. We've only had a few laps since this happened, but Jagu leaving a bit more space, probably wanting to try and get a good exit when Burge decides to find himself right on that Ferrari gearbox. When will Burge go at all? If he will, and we will see. He's leaving it really late. I want to see him go, and he does, right at the line. Jagu perfectly timed, and he gets himself in P1. Burge losing out. I told you that's a terrible, terrible idea to leave it too late out the Vale Chicane, and Jagu wastes no time. That Mercedes right to the timing line, perfectly done. Couldn't have been done any better, and Jagu gets himself in first place. Brilliant race so far by him. Burge, of course, is still doing a good race as well in that Ferrari, but a terrible restart, deciding to leave it last minute. A terrible decision. Ollie trying to find a position on Stozan, forcing Kimarai out wide. The Haas side by side with the Alpine. He does manage to hold on to it, leaving him enough room, but Kimarai holds on to that position. Brilliant bit of driving by Jagu. Unbelievable from him. His 6 times clear as well, really stretching his legs on those hard tyres. Of course, many of the drivers on the same strategies now to the end. 3-second time penalty for Ollie. That's unfortunate. So drivers really struggling with track conditions, track evolution. Of course, not quite allowing the drivers to grip up as much as they wish. Move back here by 7, and maybe Red Bull trying to get on MKL. MKL holding out quite well. Stozan did get past Kimmerai. He's going to see side by side for Periland and Stozan as they're going through the Vale chicane. Do manage to navigate through there. Periland on the exit. Manage to grip up, and that's out for Stozan, who finds himself in the gravel trap right way around the avoids barrier. But it's unfortunate, very difficult for drivers to get through there quite cleanly. No safety guard, just yellow flags on the Hamilton straight, and Periland is through. It was quite tight, I did say. Quite shocked that they got through there all okay. But one bit of contact, the ground effect of these cars, and they are unsettled. Unfortunate for Stozan, who's fallen right down the order. Bird's just trying to stay in DRS range of Jagu. 9/10 back. Jagu stretching his legs. 1.1 seconds clear as Castleman will now be looking to attack that Ferrari. Burge either probably feeling a bit of vertigo, maybe taking a defensive line just to break the slipstream there from Castleman. Burge must be feeling under threat here. The AlphaTauri attacking right on the gearbox. 2 tenths back into Maggots and Beckett. No DRS, of course, just yet. We've barely had 1 lap of racing. Struggling on the exit there, but we are going to see how much slipstream, how much drag there will be. Does pull over, looking to either just see the apex. Engine cooling, of course, isn't really a thing you need to worry about in this game, so I doubt that will be it. We're going to see side by side Ollie and Matthias. Matthias with the inside line into the Vale chicane. That Red Bull trying to outbrake the Alpine, and he does and is through. DRS enabled this lap. Burge will be pushing now, probably with everything he's got to try and stay with it. Kimmerai looking at the back of Ollie, he isn't quite able to stay close enough, but Burge within DRS range now. But Castleman still on his gearbox. These two have broken the DRS to fudge, so they don't got to worry too much about getting attacked from behind. 1.1 seconds now. Burge just holds onto it, but Castleman is closer with that slipstream, with the AlphaTauri trying to make a move but can't find it, and will have to settle, but he is ever closer. Jagu probably just wanted to keep him maybe just in DRS, but we will see. He probably wants to definitely break a lead bigger out, especially on the hards. You're into the end of this stint. Barely 13 laps left in this race. Not even that, yeah. Literally 11 laps left in this race. You can expect that drivers now want to get their gaps formed, want to push as much as they can, try to dictate pace. 6 tenths back for Castleman. We'll see Burge dumping his ERS. Castleman with a lot more as well. That light blinking on Burge. He did manage to get in DRS range of Jagu. But Jagu as well, I think that ERS light blinking further ahead. Of course, if that light is blinking, it means you are harvesting. You're below 10% on your ERS. You've barely got anything left in the tank. And we're going to see a brilliant move by Ollie, maybe looking for a switch back on Periland. That Aston Martin gearbox holding him up ever longer. He can't quite get through. Kimmerai, of course, plenty of pace in that Haas, attacking Ollie as well. I can imagine he'll want to get this move done further ahead as well. But back to the front, the top 3, this still is close in contention. Jagu pushed too hard, burned up his battery, couldn't get a gap. Burge pushing harder as well to try and defend, just to stay within DRS. Castleman too far back to get the move done. Out of the Wellington straight, he can't quite get the move done. Can he hold on to the exit here? Burge is still closer enough to Jagu as we're looking at this beautiful camera shot into the old pit straight. And we're going to see, is he close through cops? Can he get a good enough exit to carry himself into Maggots and Beckett's now? Right to the edge, right to the line. 3 tenths, 2 tenths. Again, can he get a good enough exit? He overcooked it through these set of corners. And this is much better, much cleaner by Major. by Castleman, and he is going to have the run on the Ferrari, on Burge, side by side, down the hanger straight, into Stowe. He might even get Jagu. Jagu too far back, and that is P2 for Castleman. Brilliant move by him into Stowe. He'll have to hold off from Burge, but too far back. Burge just settles in for P3. Brilliant bit of driving by him. Jagu feeling vulnerable now. We will definitely want to be charging his battery. Don't want to use too much ERS and just hold on to this position. Still 9 laps to go. Still a lot of racing, of course. We can expect drivers to be swapping position quite often now. Especially as you want to try and just look after your battery, look after your tyres. Jagu couldn't get the gap, but Castleman's pace is looking very strong. Moves over to the inside, probably just having a little look, but he does go for it. Now, on the inside of Jagu, does leave the door open a little bit, probably just to try and not get spun around, and he'll have to settle in behind. So seems to be an issue further back. Kimirai can't get his way past Ollie, who is using a lot of battery to hold on to that position. Major Castleman just looking at Cox, unable to get that move, unfortunately. Smart place to do it. You don't do it at critical corners at all. And I will be stealing that from you, definitely. You've crashed out, so you can't really say anything about it. But Jagu, 4 attempts ahead of Castleman. We're going to see that rear wing open on the AlphaTauri. Which way will he go? He goes down the inside of Stowe, and he clears Jagu. Can't even defend it. Nothing to do side by side. So he will have to settle for that. The Haas pairing, Kimirai going around the outside. And he loses it! And that's unfortunate for Kimirai. Unable to hold on to it. MKL taken out as well. Ollie taken out as well, finding the barrier. 2 cars side by side. Unsafe rejoin as well by Kimirai. And we're going to see another safety car. Haas teammates colliding. Ollie collected in the midst of that. Kimirai, only car still surviving, who found the escape round the outside of Stowe. Extra bit of runoff, saving him there. Castleman managing to hold on to first place, getting the move done before that collision happened further back. Jagu still in an okay enough position, but feeling vulnerable. Burge probably doesn't have the pace to be able to get him on the restart. We'll see, but Castleman will now be able to dictate the pace. Burge may be feeling, of course, well, I definitely think he might not be able to get Jagu, but how timid his restarts have been, I don't think he'll have the pace, the confidence to really go at it. But we'll see what kind of restart Castleman has, of course. And that is unfortunate. The Haas teammates, I think, were side by side into Stowe. Didn't get a clear enough angle on what happened. Warnings on the drivers. Well, I apologise, Olivier. But the warnings drivers will have is that they need to be cleaner. We've had 3 safety cars for Tier 1 now. And the Haas pair who were doing so well to try and attack Red Bull. And Red Bull, who were suffering earlier on in the race, falling right down the order. Sevener up to P9. And Matthias recovering his race, only losing out overall to 1 position. So he's done fairly well. Perryland, of course, up into P7, gaining 7 positions. And Castleman, brilliant race by him, brilliant pace, carrying this team and finding himself up into P1. Our 3rd safety car of the race, and he's going to actually be boxing. He's going to go into the softs. Will anyone else join him? Some drivers peeling in. We're going to see a side-by-side into here. Maybe the Aston Martin trying to squeeze his way through. Unable to. Drivers juggling around. Fudge messing up his braking point. Getting a time penalty, which is unfortunate to see. So Alpine will not be having a good day any longer. Probably going to be falling right out of the points by the end. Imagine everyone will be going on to the softs. So we'll see. They had the hard tyres on, so you can expect as much. Jagu deciding to stick it out. Burge sticking it out. Igor, who's only on 1 lap old, mediums of course he pitted earlier, is sticking out. Kimirai box. Castleman. Well, Kimirai was involved in the incident. So Castleman, who was our race leader, has the freshest set of softs on Kimirai. Of course, Kimirai got to actually box right as the incident started, so he jumped due to Delta and drivers having to stick to their speeds. 5-second penalty for Matthias, of course, and Fudge, who picked one up as well. Unless they were game bugs, they will definitely need to be served either if there's another pit stop or by the end. The only way they can get removed if there is a bug in the game. Sorry, a feature will be if they don't get to box again, of course. But your new race leader, Jagu, who had a brilliant restart on Burge. These drivers will have to see what they can do, though, to defend against everyone else. Igor, fresh mediums versus 11-lap old hards. Kimirai on the softs, though, and everyone else further behind will be on more decent tyres. 7 laps to go of racing, and I imagine we'll be in this lap for the safety car if everyone can catch up to the queue. So we will see what drivers can do. Can't imagine Jagu and Burge will be able to hold on to this. Feel they should have boxed. They might have not suffered too badly. They would only be down in 5th, 6th and 7th. Especially on fresh rubber. Oh no, of course, no, sorry. They would only be down in 4th and 5th respectively. Of course, the 2 positions would be swapped out with themselves. No late safety car call in, I don't think, because the drivers haven't caught it in time. No, yeah, the safety car's way past the pit lane, so no late call from the safety car, of course. So one more lap of racing. We are going to see someone pitting. Matthias deciding to come in. So drivers pitting again, either because he got given the wrong set of softs or... Don't understand that one by Red Bull. And it's terrible! What is going on? Casamal ignoring yellow flags. And we have a 5-second time penalty for who was our race leader earlier in the race. Drivers being able to serve the 5 seconds under safety car. So that one is new. I didn't believe drivers could serve time penalties under safety car. Someone will, especially when the queue's already been caught, someone will have to help elaborate on that one. Well, Casaman losing out, unfortunately. 5-second time penalty he will now have to serve, or I suppose he can pit under the safety car, but you get the feeling that this should definitely be the last lap of the safety car because it's been out now for a good few laps. So we'll go back now. So I just have to remember Casaman has a 5-second time penalty, unfortunately. So Jagu, 12-lap old hards along with Burge, 12-lap old hards. Jagu had a brilliant restart under the previous safety car. Burge caught napping, trying to do the exact same thing twice, leaving his restart right to the exit of the Vale chicane. Jagu fooled him once, shame on you, but fooled him twice. That didn't happen at all, and Jagu got the brilliant jump and overtook him immediately on the timing line, which was brilliant to see. But this is, you feel, more Igor and Kimirai race now. Especially with Castleman having the time penalty. The Haas and the Aston Martin are going to be looking to get these moves done. Kimirai probably will be in the better position given the softs, but it's a restart, so anyone's game. You can't really go side by side, but they are just leaving enough separation there. As we are going to see when Jagu goes, when he chooses to put the foot down, when he chooses to get underway under green conditions. Burge, who tried some fancy stuff and wasn't a fan of it, but we will see what Jagu decides to do. You can imagine he'll go immediately out of the Vale chicane. He's trying to take the wide exit. He has got immediately brilliant traction on that Williams, and he caught Burge napping. As soon as that car went really far out wide, you knew exactly that he was going to put the hammer down and get the gap 5/10 straight away. Burge managing to just follow, though, probably burning some battery to keep that gap nice and close. Igor maybe taking a defensive line, struggling a little bit with Kimirai behind him on the softs, looking around the outside, just touching that gearbox of the Aston Martin. And he's just trying to get the position there at all. But Igor, brilliant position on those fresh mediums. He's got the gap to just defend a little bit, just slotting in behind, not trying to go too desperately for a move. But those aging hards, he's going to have to clear Burge. He's going to get past him. He isn't going to get past him. He's going to allow Kimirai down the inside of that corner. 7 are leaving the session. It's on this, maybe actually due to lag, I'm not entirely sure. But side by side in the cops perhaps for these drivers. Couldn't quite see with the camera angle. They're going 3 wide, 2 wide. Igor trying to battle side by side into Maggots and Beckett's socket in behind Kimirai. And Kimmerai, the main person who's actually benefited from this, did get past Igor, but has got the run to defend against. You've got to get past these hard runners. Otherwise, you're just going to have to battle further back as well and lose out. Through Stowe, into the Vale chicane. You're on the softs. You should have the able to outbrake. Can't quite find his way through. Igor now going to lose out the Castleman. Castleman collecting himself with aim. And that McLaren takes out Castleman's front wing, who just lost the braking point completely, unfortunately. And that front wing is now an ailing car. He's going to have to give up that battle. He'll have to defend. Sorry, it's not. He can't defend that position at all. Kimmerai looking at the back of Burge. These softs will have the performance to just get past him, get the traction down, but he can't find it. Either they're too used up from qualifying, we're not entirely sure. But at the moment, Jagu and Burge holding on to P1 and 2. No DRS just yet, so that will change everything. But you should feel that with Igor just behind you, you've just got to use these softs. You've got to get clear. You've got to get a gap between yourself and the driver behind. Especially, you've got to get past these hard runners. 14-lap old tyres on Jagu and Burge. That Williams and that Ferrari must be sat vulnerable. But we're not going to see a move just yet. Kimmerai probably just biding his time, especially given Maggots and Beckett's being a very technical set of corners. But now we're probably going to see a switch back and couldn't quite get the momentum there. Igor looking at the back of this Haas as well. No run by RD Gamer. Brilliant race by him in P5. Igor just navigating Stowe, keeping as much throttle as he dares, and we are going to see, I think, Kimmerai tucking in behind that Ferrari, and Igor with an opportunistic move, can't quite find the gap, and he has to take a 3-second time penalty for going off track. Too much, too late, I think, from that Aston Martin. You can't quite send it from that far back, not against someone with soft tyres. We see yellows as we are seeing, I think, Castleman retire from the race. That is, of course, unfortunate, but we won't see a safety car on 3 laps to go, and the damage was race critical. He's going to be outside of the points, which is unfortunate. Burge looking at the back of Jagu now. Drivers forming up, trying to sort themselves out, trying to look for what moves they can get. And we're still seeing Kimmerai looking at the back of these hard runners. Igor can't find his way through Kimmerai. The softs are just proving too much. They've got the momentum to handle any battle, really, that gets thrown at him there. But these softs are going to fall off. Every single time, he's right in the gearbox of Burge through Maggots and Beckett. Igor just manages to hold on and get enough run. But we are going to see, can that Haas clear the Ferrari? Can he get the buffer to keep himself defended with this DRS open? Battery being drained by Burge. Igor down the inside on Stowe. Can he get the move done? He can't. The softs just offering way more grip on that Haas. Taking the inside line, taking the defensive line. Can't get through the Ferrari. The Ferrari's actually holding him up into the Vale chicane. Kimmerai just manages to hold on, keeps Igor at bay through the corners into the Hamilton straight. Burge on these old hards, defending brilliantly. Either using Jagu just to keep himself defensive, but that battery is being used by that Ferrari. He can't find a way past for now. Kimmerai burning up these softs. Of course, Igor on those mediums will probably be thinking this is coming into his contention. 2 laps to go. Only 2 laps left in Tier 1 DRC Season 5 at Silverstone. Look at that straight line speed. Definitely feel Igor has some more pace, but he's getting vulnerable. Stozan 2 tenths back, 1 tenth back, looking at a move on Igor. A bit of a train forming here. Jagu must be using his battery defensively quite well to keep Burge at bay. Burge who's burning it. Of course, drivers slotting into position 4. Cops lining themselves up, getting ready for Maggots and Beckett's. No one daring to go side by side just yet. Not too desperate from drivers. But you can see that light blinking from Burge. He is really having to defend hard. Defended for his life for this podium position, but I feel maybe it's not enough. Kimirai has to run, has the ERS to dump, has the ERS to burn. He's going to get through Stowe round the outside, and he clears that Ferrari. Finally, the softs giving more grip than he can handle. Of course, Burge might lose out 2 positions in Sector 3 as Igor side by side in the chicane being forced out wide, forced wider by Burge, barely on track, and the Aston Martin can't get through. Burge just holding on more. Igor frustrated, trying to find it in turn 1. Can't do it. Kimirai looking at the back of Jagu. Now those softs will be unleashed. Can he get past Jagu? No DRS to help Jagu defend against this at all. Mistake by Igor. He's backed everyone up. And Matthews has actually got through there. Stozan, has he lost out at all? I don't think so. But we are going to go back to Kimirai, who's just looking and can't see the gap. Can't get past Jagu just yet. Aim. More warnings, unfortunately struggling in that McLaren. But Kimirai, 3 tenths, 2 tenths back, going into the old pit straight. That Haas will now be prepped and ready. He should want to get through. How late will he leave it though? Maybe he doesn't feel that those softs have enough pace to make a gap after they've been used from qualifying, of course. But it's only a matter of time. Of course, Igor with a time penalty, unfortunately, from earlier, pending off from Stozan. But I don't think he's far ahead enough to actually get the move done too well. Matthews just getting through, but Kimirai now catching up, and Igor is through as well. So the mediums on him, allowing him to get through. Burge is still defending this. This is a mighty effort by Burge, side by side in the chicane. Igor trying to take too much of the curb, losing out on traction, and being forced wider again. But Matthews, if he can climb through, pre-wide into turn 1, possibly from these drivers. Matthews tucking in behind Smart from the Red Bull. He'll get Igor on time penalties, of course. But Kimirai ever closer. The final lap of Silverstone Grand Prix tonight. And we are going to see if Jagu can hold on. 18 lap old hearts. Kimirai on the attack in his Haas. What can he do? Is he going to do it down the Wellington straight? Looks down the inside, just decides against it. This is it now. Jagu, can you hold on to this position? He's going to give it everything in that Williams, but he's going to hold on to it for now. Kimirai is going to be eyeing up down the hangar straight. Definitely feel into Maggots and Beckett's that when the move will be done, when he'll unleash the DRS and any battery he'll have left. Maggots and Beckett's now for Jagu and Kimirai. Kimirai with a fantastic race, climbing right up the order, finding himself in P2 and attacking for the race win. DRS wide open. Which way will Jagu defend? Goes down the inside to hold on to the position. Kimirai side by side with Jagu. The hards offering just as much grip as they can handle. Softs down the inside into the Vale chicane with Kimirai and Jagu. They're going to go side by side through the chicane. The hards are holding on to it. Jagu is going to take the checkered flag. And he has found himself in first place, winning the British Grand Prix. Kimirai second. Matthews climbing through the order to P3 at the last second. Burge signing P4. Fudge in P5 and Stozan as well, P6. Brilliant defending there. Unreal defending. 18 lap old hards. I'm lost for words. And that is a fantastic end to the race. And you definitely feel that Kimirai loses out a little bit with those softs. But what a drive. Red Bull finding themselves with a healthy amount of points as well from the frustrations, from the efforts, especially getting screwed over a little bit by the safety car results. I'm just going to quickly try and at everyone to get them into the cool down room before we move on, of course. If I do this sooner, the better. Not too easy by myself. But Jagu, Jagu, we're going to talk to him in a minute anyway. But Jagu P1, Kimirai P2, Mathias P3, of course. Just brilliant driving by that Williams. Burge in 4th place, Fudge P5, Stozan P6, 7th, Periland, Igor, unfortunately dropping right down the order, struggling to battle towards the end, and RD Gamer, brilliant result by him, to be fair, P9 from 12th, and AIM does get a point for McLaren, with 7er, you're at 11th place losing out, and Major, Castleman, MKL, Ollie, Edgin, and Deathlink, unfortunately not finishing. So Matthias, Kimarai, trying to get it all done. Well, actually, not done this for like a couple of weeks, so suddenly you definitely get rusty. So we're going to try and pull the drivers in for interviews, of course. Everyone catch their breaths, of course. I definitely need to. Unbelievable drive by Jagu. 18 lap old hards. Made it work right towards the end. Brilliant race by him, of course. Kimarai manages to unfortunately get, well, P2 still a good race by him. Matthias sneaking his Red Bull into P3, especially the disaster where Red Bulls were double stacked earlier in the race. Just waiting for drivers to be in the cool down room, of course. We do have Kimarai, he was P2. I believe we might only be interviewing Kimarai. Move Kimarai up. We'll get we'll get P2 in for the interview, of course, for now. Kimarai, welcome. Welcome. What a race, what a drive. Found yourself climbing up the order. How was that for you?
Yeah, well, I mean, I did actually practice like 20 minutes before the race, because at 7 o'clock CET, obviously, I didn't even know if I would drive or what car to drive because I actually served up as a reserve for another team.
Oh, right.
Then Cal dropped out, so I could drive my own car, the Haas. Yeah, actually qualifying better than I expected. And then the race, well, it's like always here, just being stuck in DRS trains and not overtaking anyone, pretty much, until the safety car. And that was quite hectic then at the restart. So we had another safety car when Edgin crashed out. And after that, I don't know what happened actually. I battled with Ollie and Periland, I think we overtook just before. And then I got hit on the rear and spun out MKL, myself, and Ollie, so we had a three-way crash. I will have to watch it again, but I feel like I was hit on the back and lost the car. Then switched to soft tires, and interestingly, all the others in the front decided to stop for soft tires after having done almost a lap behind the safety car. So I was up to P4, and then with the best tires in the best position from the fresh tire guys. So got to battle with the guys at the front. Not really up to the pace there. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think you probably had it on stream, the battle on the last lap with
No,
Jaguar
I
and
was too busy
myself.
watching P14.
Too busy.
No,
Okay.
no, it was brilliant.
Ve-
So you like really at
Yeah.
the last minute struggling to get past. I think it was Burge who was holding you up for a long time. But was it just the softs had just they hadn't like kept the, like obviously they were burned out from qualifying? Were you just not able to get through them as fast as you want with being attacked as well by Igor behind you?
Actually, it was fresh soft tires because I saved one set in qualifying, just used 2 of 3. So it was a fresh set, and yeah, it was more about let's see what is their ELS level, how down are Berg's tires, because I didn't know when he put them on. So I stayed behind him for 2-3 more laps because he could also stay with Jagu. So I initiated to stay behind because I thought, okay, he's gonna maybe overtake Jagu for the lead, and if they battle, maybe I can take over like I did with who was third when I restarted? Oh, it was a car in front. I think it was Igo
It might
himself.
have been Igor ahead
I
of you. Yeah,
overtook
Igor was ahead of you. I think maybe originally.
because
Yeah.
I just sneaked in with them while they were side by side in Brooklands and Luffield. So I thought maybe I can do that again. And then there came the opportunity to overtake Berg, and they started battling, or Igor started battling, like he was diving me once or twice before. He was just hardly battling Berg, so we could get away by a second and a half for the final 2 laps. And I thought, okay, save up your battery. Maybe you can try something against Jagu on his hards. It was ultimately very hard. He pushed me off the track in Stowe, so I got a warning, which didn't make a difference because I only had one. So that would be the only point I would, not be so happy about. But I'm happy with P2, so actually my best drive, I think, so far in the last couple of months.
That is a brilliant drive from
Really
yourself,
nice.
especially climbing up the order as you did and battling through. So brilliant, well done. Did you maybe think you could have a go? I mean, it was side by side to the line nearly. Did you think it was just maybe just lost out maybe on the grip, or what do you think?
Yeah, I think that in the last lap you could really feel the soft tires giving up a little bit, and also Jagu knew what I was gonna do. I think because he was saving up battery as well. I think, and going on to the hangar straight, you could feel he knows what we're fighting for, because he was giving the minus of space. He was giving me the least space I could have. I think I even dipped into the gravel into Stowe. But fair and square, and I didn't have the traction actually out of the last corner, because I tried to stay with him in club section, but no way. Maybe it's just still me with no traction control, because I'm pretty new still to that. But it definitely helps with pace, you have to say.
Very impressive, but still good result from yourself, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And now we are a little bit of a wrong order. Now we're going to get Matthias in for interview. He finished P3, of course.
Check your attendance.
Oh, hello, Matthias.
Oh, hello.
Didn't mean to interrupt you, but you had a conversation going on there.
Mate, you guys... Yeah, it's fine, bro.
Well, maybe you should be ready. You should be ready for this. No, brilliant. P3, you snuck right in there. Time penalty from Igor to Igor, dropping right down the order in fairness as well, but a bit frustrating for Red Bull. You guys qualified really high up. Disaster earlier on with the double stack under the safety car right at the back of the grid, and then you've climbed right up to a podium getting a healthy amount of points. How was that race overall for you?
It was a shit race, mate. I mean, my pace was pretty good. I mean, engine was just in a different league at the start. Then yeah, the safety car fucked us. Then I had like a little incident, which was my fault. But I mean, yeah, and then at the end the safety car I was like P10 or something, and I was making my way up to like P5, and then all the dumbasses started burning ERS, so I was like P9 again. So entering the last 2 laps or something, everyone was flashing, and I still had like a full battery left. So yeah, I just overtook everyone.
Brilliant bit of driving. Well done, mate. Especially, yeah, like you said, battling, getting right through the order. P3 is still a fantastic result. Of course, I think that's where you started the race, so it's a good recovery drive. You excited for? You confident for next week? I think it was. I had the track up here a moment ago, actually.
Yeah, I'm ready to run my low wing setup, mate.
Oh yeah, that was it, wasn't it? It was Paul Ricard. You feeling confident around France?
Yeah, it's a good track. I'm pretty good at it, so.
Brilliant. Overall, any comments, anything to take away then from the race? Do you feel like you?
No, I just want to leave, to be honest.
That's fair enough. So, brilliant drive, and thank you so much. I'll let you really cool down then.
Goodbye.
That was Matthews, who snuck into P3, but a race winner. And I'm just in awe of this drive. We'll bring Jagu in to the comms box. Jagu, P1 on old hard tyres and side by side in sector 3 through the Vale chicane. Talk to me about that race. How are you feeling?
Feeling good. You know, it was a fun race. Had a lot of battling, and it came down to the line, which was fun.
It was literally, I think you just left barely enough room, but enough room, of course, on track, and you just. So these it's like 18 lap old hards. What were you thinking, of course, of the softs? Of course, I think Kimirai has a lot of pace, especially like with or without softs. Did you know you were going to be? I mean, you gave him a run for his money. You pushed as hard as you could and defended with your elbows. were you definitely thinking like you've got something left, you can hold on to this, or was it realizing like you might have to like give up and try and come back at him?
No, I expected to be out of the podium by lap 24, so me being on the top step is unexpected.
You left, yeah, I was gonna say, as soon as you stayed out, I thought you guys were gonna go right down the order. You really pushed hard. Burge was struggling to stay with you, but somehow did stay with you. That Ferrari almost being a rear gunner. But I do want to talk about something with Burge. He held the first safety car restart, waited right till the exit of the chicane. Were you thinking if he does this again, as soon as you swooped out wide and you jumped the gun and really got alongside him, that was a fantastic restart to take the lead. Were you suspecting that he was going to try the same thing again?
No, I thought he would go like in the corner, but it was just intuitive going and seeing him letting me go past him on the straight like the line. It was a silly mistake, but you know, you live and learn.
No, of course, though opportunistic and getting P1 in control of it, like I said, right to the end. Just talk me, like, were you really struggling with those hards at the end? Because obviously, like you said, expected to fall down the order. It was clear, especially going through Stowe, that the grip almost dropped off, but you managed to hold on to it. What were you thinking as well during that battle?
I mean, I gotta thank Kimura because it was pretty fun battling, but yeah, the hards were, so I mean, they were slow, but they felt nice, if you know what I mean. So I could drive to the limits, and you know, it was enough today.
Of course, no surprises from those tyres, usually, unless you overcook them. But next weekend, Paul Ricard, France. Bit of a high-speed circuit, that one, and well, actually a mixture of sets. How are you feeling confident around that one at all?
Probably less confident, but I'll still aim to step on the podium.
No, of course. Well, Williams, British car, P1, of course. Well, it's a good home race for your team. You've done fairly well. Yeah. Well, any takeaway, any comments you want to make after that race overall then? Or
no, I think I said it all. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic evening. And that was round 5 for the British Grand Prix for DRC Tier 1, powered by Milestone and sponsored by Aztec. Links, of course, in the description and below the videos. I've been your commentator, Wilton Wild. Tier 2 streams Saturday, 6:30, and Tier 1 streams same time, 6:30 next week, Sunday. You can check us out on our socials, all linked and listed below. Catch the VOD on YouTube as well. Or you can join us at discord.gg/digital racing. Thank you very much and have a fantastic evening.